Well, welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here to some more Fan Fridays, and look at that, we finally see a Smeargle. Now, granted, single Smeargle hasn't been nerfed as hard as doubles because, oh, no access to Dark Void. Well, the only reason why you use that is to hit both opponents and make them fall asleep. So at least Spore Smeargle is still pretty solid, but just doesn't feel as effective overall. That Sheer Cold did get nerfed, which isn't as fun. However, the lock-on Sheer Cold is still really strong, so we're going to see if the Smeargle can get the setup that it needs to, and how it ends up playing out. So that is going to be Smeargle getting everything at once in life. That's it. Like, if you can get that outspeed for that first Spore, it's just GG right there. And there's a couple of ways of doing this. I'm wondering, like, where's the speed boosting on the Smeargle? Because that's technically something that you want as well. That, you know, you go into the agility, you Spore, and then you get all the stats, then you lock on Sheer Cold. But I guess if you're already faster, that doesn't really matter too much. You still have your Focus Sash preserved, and you might as well wait and hope to see if Moody gives you something. Moody could give you evasion. The opponent misses, that's a free turn. Moody could give you speed. Well, that's a free agility right there. So there's a couple interpretations of what could happen, but that's going to be the lock on, and the opponent withdrawing the Bisharp. So no free Sheer Cold right there. However, it's still a 1 in 3 chance that they switch into death. Except, I don't... See, this is also where the nerf comes into play, though. Because now it actually does... It has a less chance of being successful when not used by an Ice-type Pokemon. That's one of the dumbest, most nonsensical, like, things that Game Freak has ever done. Decisions, ever. So that's going to be the Drain Punch, but that's going to be Smeargle hanging on with the Focus Sash and then getting a Spore onto the Seismitoad. Now this is where, but also if the opponent switches out, that means they're switching out an Asleep Pokemon. So that could lead to some shenanigans, and eventually they'll have to go down. But you only get 5 PP on the Oko moves as well. Like, they're so nerfed. How can anyone have a problem with the one-hit KO moves? But that's going to be Seismitoad going down to the Sheer Cold right there. That, yeah, like, even in the long battles, you know, you can switch out of the lock-on Sheer Cold strat. So one of the theoretical ways of making it work actually doesn't really find too much success. And then if you had like 15 PP on it, and maybe you could spam through as the entire opponent's team falls asleep, that's something that could work out. But now we're going to see Hydreigon with the Dark Pulse, but Smeargle gaining that evasion boost will avoid it, and that's going to be the Spore. So it's like, do you throw out the lock on? Do you go for double lock on? It doesn't really do anything though without Stealth Rocks if they keep switching around. Just kind of have to start landing those raw Sheer Colds, but with all these turns of asleep, could actually work out. And that's going to be Hydreigon fast asleep, and the Smeargle going to go for the lock-on. So yeah, is the opponent going to switch? Because, like, the thing about switching, though, is that it doesn't progress the sleep turn timer. So if you can force them out like that, I guess it's kind of the same as if Sheer Cold misses and they stay in until it doesn't miss. But Hydreigon's going to wake up, go for the Dark Pulse. Smeargle's going to avoid it, and that's why I run the agility. It'd feel a little nicer if you don't have to worry about getting outsped like that. But the Sheer Cold's going to connect on the Hydreigon, and then it's an Asleep Bisharp. So we know that's pretty much over from here. That you just lock on Sheer Cold, no switches, and that's going to secure the KO. Looks like the opponent was expecting to just wake up, outspeed, get it, but that's why Moody Evasion is pretty ridiculous. Oh, Bisharp wakes up though, goes for the Night Slash, and that will land on the Smeargle. So that's understandable. It was on the field for a couple turns because of the lock-on and stuff. Now it's actually faster because of speed drops from the Moody. So Moody being beneficial and also a hindrance at the same time. And then I guess Final Gambit Eradicate. Nice. I love that. Okay, if anything survives, you do that. Or I would maybe lead the Eradicate. You lead the Scarf Final Gambit Eradicate. You make it a 1v1. Yo, what about... Okay, now let's take it to the next level. Not even that, but what happens if you have 2 Final Gambit Pokemon, and then you go into lock-on Sheer Cold Smeargle? Because then that means they can't switch, and that would be pretty amazing. But yeah, what you want to do is you want to Agility first, then Spore if you're running the Agility set. But let's go and see some other battles with the Smeargle play out. Okay, this one looks pretty bad. This is when you just go, see, I'm not even trying. I'm running a gimmick. Come on, I'm not taking this seriously. I'm not trying to win every battle. I'm just trying to have some fun with this Sheer Cold gimmick. Because Spore doesn't affect 2 of the opponent's team. And then there's a lot of not really good matchups overall. That's just kind of, yeah, that's unfavorable. Now, I can understand the Beedrill. I can understand it because, yeah, if they don't have resisting grass-type Pokemon or Focus Sash grass-type Pokemon, you can actually use Beedrill to just nuke out the grass types, especially when there's such a high likelihood that they'll bring it, and then you can just kind of convert damage that way. So that's going to be Beedrill into Ferrothorn, and unfortunately Beedrill doesn't get to do anything. Ferrothorn has some pretty good resists on it. Yeah, I guess you could go for just like X-Scissor and try to get some of the most damage possible. That's not going to be a lot. Beedrill goes for the Brick Break though, so maybe it's U-turn Beedrill or Fell Stinger, but not going to be enough damage. And the Iron Barbs is going to work away at the Beedrill. Also, it's a Rocky Helmet, so extra hateful right there. And then the Stealth Rocks comes through, so no Focus Sash for Smeargle either. Anyway, that's bad. So what's the opponent going to do? The opponent's actually going to withdraw the Ferrothorn in this case, and then go into the Charizard. I actually think that's a really bad idea, because Beedrill's still a very powerful Pokemon with a very crazy amount of speed. So, like, it's just going to outspeed and KO the Charizard. It's just going to outspeed and KO the Charizard. Why? Correction. Because, yeah, it's only a 100 base speed Pokemon, and Beedrill with the adaptability, it can find good KO potential on average sweeping Pokemon like the Charizard, especially after taking a little bit of damage from the Brick Break. So that's going to be the Poison Jab onto the Charizard, and Charizard will go down. So there is enough damage from the Beedrill right there. All you Beedrill fans get to be happy, you know, the buff works. Even though that kind of doesn't matter about the buff. It still does damage, guys. Now it's Breloom, and Breloom's going to be problematic because that's going to be a Focus Sash survival. Just like that. Critical hit, doesn't matter. Focus Sash causes Breloom to survive, but the Poison going to save the day is what it looks like, because the thing about being a Smeargle is that Ice types, they suck. Grass types, they suck. Focus Sash, they extra suck, because you have to land 2. You have to land 2 Sheer Colds to get through a Focus Sash, but at least 30% chance we'll be able to remove that Sash advantage and then trade it for the Beedrill. But now it's Primarina versus just the Ferrothorn, and I don't know if that's the best decision that could have been made, because like Ferrothorn could Power Whip, and that's going to hurt. So yeah, Primarina goes for the Ice Beam. And decent damage, but Ferrothorn opts in for the Leech Seed. That's strange. I would have just gone for like the Power Whip to KO, because unless it has even if it has Protect, it's going to lose more health. Like if it just finishes off Primarina, it doesn't take another Ice Beam, it doesn't take any more damage. And my guess is that after the Ice Beam, it's going to be in like red health instead of yellow, so that puts Ferrothorn at a disadvantage, except it's going against Smeargle. So Smeargle, every Pokemon effectively lives at 1 hit points to a Smeargle, unless it's a Focus Sash or Sturdy or anything like that. But you get the idea that, you know, it's just a 1-hit KO move. If Sheer Cold lands, it's going to happen. Now Smeargle comes in, and again, this is where you just kind of play it off as a gimmick, you know, 30% chance to win. Look how fun that is. Oh, I missed the Sheer Cold GG gimmicks. But the Sheer Cold lands, and Ferrothorn goes down. So that's an interesting battle. Like, the opponent did some weird plays, but still ended up working out. So there we go. We'll check out one more of these, because we got one more submission. Alright, so we have the last submission right now, and what I'm hoping that this is just the guy doesn't switch at all, so it's just like, boom, Spore Lock on Sheer Cold, ×3, insta-win, GG, welcome to life as a Smeargle or something, I don't know. So that's going to be Scizor, and Scizor, I'm about to say it could be problematic, but Smeargle's not the fastest Pokemon ever. And if you're not running the agility strat, I guess, you know, every Pokemon effectively has +1 priority against Smeargle. So Scizor comes in with Bullet Punch, but we already know the story. That's going to turn into Spore Lock on Sheer... Or just not damage. I bet that's just going to turn into Spore Lock on Sheer Cold. But that's an unusual Smeargle to survive something like that. Yeah, I guess max hit point investment. Nah, it just has so little defenses. I don't know. But speed is going to drop on the Smeargle, which is no bueno. As we see, that is a Mega Scizor, but it's asleep. And yeah, let's see what happens. Because I mean, I loved when I was doing my agility Smeargle. We had a couple of clean battles where it's just you agility, Spore, Lock on, Sheer Cold, and then you can do that, and the entire opponent's team just dies, which is cool. So Smeargle's going to take aim. Moody is going to raise the defense and then drop the evasion. I wonder what the last move on the Smeargle is. It's honestly probably a move like Extreme Speed to deal with the Focus Sash, because that is something that could happen. If you're running the agility set, you only have Sheer Cold as an option. But if you're running this set and you sacrifice the agility for the for the whatchamacallit, you know, the priority, then it makes up for it. But also, the opponent just switched, and Smeargle lands a Sheer Cold anyways. What Sheer Cold nerf, guys? Seems like Smeargle's landing it with pretty good effectiveness against those switches. So now Scizor comes back in. And Scizor is fast asleep. Wants to go for that bullet punch. But now with the defense boosting, Smeargle should be able to be okay. And then that's going to be the Sheer Cold missing. Smeargle's moody. It's going to give special defense now. Just making it a little bulkier, even though the evasion is unsavable right now. So Scizor is going to be fast asleep, and the Smeargle goes for the Spore. Ah, anticipation. I like it. I like anticipating the wake up. Defense is going to drop, though. Hopefully Smeargle can still find a way to survive. Scizor's going to wake up. That's going to be the bullet punch. And you have to take the Spore, you know. Too many turns of silliness right there. Smeargle's going to go for that Sheer Cold, and it will land. So that was bold. That was, I guess that, you know, it's just one of those things like, I'm running a gimmick. I can play this however I want. As Smeargle's moody comes in, and that is going to be special defense going up, and speed falling. Okay, Ferrothorn. Of all the, wait, oh no. That means it has to be like another just raw Sheer Cold, and Smeargle gets it. So that's pretty lucky. 3 out of 5. With the nerfed Sheer Cold. I wish that would happen just once in a battle. I understand it's fan fries. You can be selective with the battles that you submit. But I wish I got that lucky just once in my life. That's cool. Maybe there was like one from the, I don't remember everything from the Sheer Troll, but I don't think I ever just got like 3 Sheer Colds. You know, you just bring in Scarfanilux, 1, 2, 3. Like, that's the dream. That's the dream, and I never got it. There we go, guys. Sheer Cold Smeargle still working out pretty well. I do like the idea of the Beedrill to cover for the grass types. I really like the idea of the Final Gambit. So I mean, like, double Final Gambit, Spore Lock on Sheer Cold Smeargle. What you gonna do? What you gonna do about it? Hope you guys enjoyed the battles, and I'll see you guys in the next Fan Fridays.